What is up everyone, and recently Borderlands 3 was just announced, and I have had Borderlands 2 sitting in my Steam library for a long time, so I figured that now is a good time to fire it up and see how well it stacks up in 2019. Back in 2012, when the game was released, it was kind of a unique genre, as there were not many looter shooters out at the time compared to the large number that we have today, such as The Division, Destiny, and Anthem. So how does a 7-year-old game hold up to its modern counterparts? Let's start by talking about graphics. I'm playing this on my PC, and they seem to be pretty good, especially in high settings. The textures look pretty good, and especially compared to other games of the time, it looks really good in 2019. And it scales up in resolution really good, like this game in 4K looks really nice. I think this is due to its cartoony art style, which usually helps games age better. Borderlands' art style also helps it appear unique in the looter shooter genre, as most of these games have realistic art styles. Next, let's talk about the story. And most looter shooters have pretty bad stories, or at least bad in-game stories, such as Destiny, The Division, and Anthem. And people defend the games by saying that you don't play these games for the story, and that good stories don't work in looter shooter games. But this game breaks all those stereotypes, as it has a kick-ass story with lots of humor and a very memorable side quest. Such as, like for humor, the first time I attacked a group of psychos, one of them yelled, "I'm gonna cut off your face and go say hi to your mama with it." This really set the tone of the game, as it never takes itself too seriously, but will still keep you invested in the story and its characters. This is all better than any looter shooter story that I have played, and this game came out on last gen consoles in 2012. So now let's talk about the gameplay, and it is a joy to play, with all the guns feeling so satisfying to shoot that even if this game did not have a really good story, I would still enjoy running around the open world and attacking enemy camps. This game has even better gunplay than Destiny, and if you have ever played this game, you should know that it is one of its strongest points. The vehicle gameplay is also pretty fun, as you can drive through large groups of enemies all while spraying your turret at them. There are some parts of this game though that I do not like, such as the UI. I feel like it's too cluttered at times, and I wish that this game had a slide feature, as that would feel so good in this game, as it's usually very high speed gameplay. But all that will happen if you press C or control while you're sprinting is you'll just crouch, and that kind of takes you out of it, as most games in the current year do have slide features, and this is just a testament of the times. Back in 2012, not that many games had slide features, so it's understandable that this game didn't, but it is something that I wish would be in the game. But overall, this game still has some pretty good gameplay, especially compared to some of its other contemporaries, such as The Division. Now, let's get to this game's best part, and that is the loot. And it puts all of its modern equivalents to shame, and that is by using a procedural system to make 17.75 million guns for this game. That's right, this game has millions of guns, and they are all unique, especially compared to its more modern contemporaries such as Destiny 2. I mean, even if you took a fourth of this, you would still have more loot than Destiny and The Division 2 combined, and that's not even adding in other items in Borderlands, such as shields and other power-ups. And this leads to a really solid grind, as every gun that you get in this game feels very unique, and there's hardly ever any reskins in it, which is amazing. I mean, especially compared to Destiny, where 90% of the loot that you get is just a reskin of something that you've gotten earlier on in the game. This feels like such a breath of fresh air, as again, every single gun you get, or well, almost every single gun you get, is extremely unique and can usually fit into a different person's playstyle. I mean, obviously there are some pretty bad weapons, but out of 17 million of them, there's way more good ones. So, in conclusion, Borderlands 2 is one of, if not the best, looter shooter of all time, even in 2019, and that most of its competition could learn from almost every aspect of it. I mean, of course, there are a couple things that do seem slightly dated in it, such as the inability to slide and the slightly cluttered UI. Meaning that if you are a fan of looter shooters, you should definitely play this game in 2019, and just in general, if you like really good stories in games, I would also recommend giving this game a try. And if you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more. Also, please leave your thoughts and suggestions for future videos in the comments down below, and until next time, goodbye.